The No Nonsense Roundtable. It's a weekly show broadcast on Rochester, New York's 50,000-watt iHeart radio station, News Radio Wham 1180. The host, Dom Geneva, interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. What you are about to hear is a recording of a previous broadcast with limited commercials. Now, here's host Dom Geneva.
Well, welcome again to another edition of your No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Geneva, your host, 10 o'clock here every Saturday. And like I like to say, all the prior shows are on NoNonsenseRoundtable.com. So go in there, kind of fill around and see what you like. And some of them are more popular than others. And today's going to be a popular show, I think. I have with me as a co-host or he didn't understand what the word was, interlocutor, somebody to help me with my show, and because it's a show about the car business, and there's this wonderful show on before me, and I think you probably heard of it. It's the Home Repair Clinic, and yes, 30 years or 30. What is it? 35 years now, Mike? Is it something like that?
I think it's 30 years now.
Yeah, I think it might even be more than that. But here's the deal. So you call up and you ask them questions about your roof and your furnace and whatever. And Jim Sam and John Wells do a magnificent job at that. And they have 3 hours to do that on a Saturday. So I'd like to do something about like a car buying clinic. But the only problem here is I only got an hour. So what we decided to do is I sent out an email and a Facebook post this week, and I asked people to respond to me in writing on questions they had about buying a car or the car business. And I got some really nice questions here. And so rather than having people call in and kind of randomly pick, people in order, we're going to kind of go through what are some of the best and the most interesting questions that we got. And Mike is going to prioritize these because, he's my interlocutor.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, I'm the interlocutor.
Interlocutor. That sounds better than assistant. Yes. And he happens, as surprising as it is, he's happened to actually been a car purchaser or leaser himself. Look at how the coincidence of that. I had somebody in my office who is going to help me with this car buying stuff and has actually bought cars.
I've probably bought 20 cars in my life. I would say.
You old.
At least
20 cars?
Yeah, sure.
How'd you end up with 20 cars?
I don't know.
You buy them for your kids?
I've been married for 44 years, and I have 4 sons.
Well, there you go.
And I drove about 22,000 miles a year when I was working in sales at this here radio station, along with others over the many years. By the way, I'm Mike Whittemore. That's who I am. I used to host that Home Repair Clinic with Jim and John.
Yes.
But I also used to do a lot of commercials with this here Dom Geneva.
Yes.
How much coffee have you had this morning?
Not enough.
I don't know.
No. It's been a very, very long week. We were out. I'll tell you the story off air, but it wasn't the best week in the world. And we drove back yesterday, and I don't know how you feel when you're driving, but it was an 8-hour trip, and it is boring as all heck. Nita drove the whole way, but I am too old to be stuck in a little cabin like that for 8 hours and not be exhausted. So I'm exhausted, but then again, I have you here, my buddy and friend, and it shows you how unprofessional I am because I didn't introduce you, did I, as Mike Whittemore?
Kind of, sort of, no.
Sort of, no.
You said Mike.
Mike, yeah,
and that's okay.
Well, that's
all right.
Well,
whatever.
People understand your voice. So let's get into some of the stuff. So you have the first question is from a John.
The first question is from John, and John very simply says, Dear Dom, buy or lease?
That is a great question. So now, I say it like this, because there isn't really no good one answer to that. It's like a hammer. Okay, a hammer is a wonderful tool, but it's also a terrible weapon. Okay,
right.
So it's like that underwear thing. It depends. Okay. I had to get that in there. It depends. It's horrible.
I'm an old guy. I know more about that than I should.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, you see, the thing is this, and I kind of put it this way. So let's say you go out and you buy a car and you take a 5-year note on the car. okay? And you trade it in at 3. Well, you don't own the car anyway. You never own the car. You own the car, but you don't own the car. You own this money on the car. Right.
Upside down in the vehicle.
Yeah, and you could be upside down in the vehicle. Now a lease is a lifestyle thing. If you can keep your miles low and you want to just hand the keys in every 3 years, you got a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. You don't want to have to worry about anything. You don't put enough miles on the car to need a set of brakes or tires or something like that. It's a lifestyle thing. You understand that you're going to have a payment forever if you keep on leasing forever. But then again, you can have a new car. Okay?
Yep.
Now, here's the problem with leasing. Okay? Some dealers will use it like a weapon. And this is what I mean. Oh, Mr. Customer, you want a $299 lease? Oh, yeah, that's what my payment is. Well, I'd like my payment to be very, very low. Okay, well, we're going to put you in this 48-month lease that has 7,000 miles a year in it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then you are committed to keep that for the 48 months. You can't trade it in like you can trade it in a car. You're going to have over mileage on it, which means unless you're retired. Unless you're actually driving 7,000 miles a year, you're going to have, maybe most people drive like 12. So you're going to have all of this fee at the end that you're going to have to pay. Plus, if you have a 48-month lease, the warranty is 36 months. So you're going to have 12 months yourself where you're on the hook. Okay,
right.
You're going to be on the hook for whatever else goes wrong with that car. Engine, transmission, whatever. You could have a $3,000 bill for a transmission, and that's on you because you don't have an extended warranty on it if you didn't buy an extended warranty. And the other side of that is that there can be a disposition fee where if you don't buy the car and you trade the car, you just return the car.
You have to pay more when you bring it back.
Yeah, you could have $700-800 in a disposition fee plus any little damages on the car and stuff like that. So if you understand what you're getting into and it is properly constructed for you, a lease can be a very, very good thing. But if you're looking for a lease and you just want a low payment, you can get seduced into doing something that in the long shot it isn't really good for you. And the other thing about leasing is that a lot of people don't understand something. So you have fees that you have to pay up front. You have to pay your tax up front. You can include the tax in the payment, but there's taxes. There's an acquisition fee. There's a bunch of fees included in there. And one of them, some dealers will advertise, and no security deposit. Yeah, okay. Well, it's a security deposit you get back at the end of the lease. This is security deposit. It's like leasing an apartment. You get it back if the thing's in good shape, right?
Right.
No security deposit doesn't mean nothing down. It means, you could have acquisition fees and whatever. And in the small print, down in a lease is different than down in buying a car.
How's it different?
Yeah, well, down, and I used to do a little funny commercial. Down can mean amount of money you take out of your pocket to reduce your loan. Down can mean a direction, and down can mean feathers on a goose.
Okay.
Down doesn't mean down. Now, when you lease a car, rather, you don't actually own the car. The leasing company owns the car. And they buy the car from the dealer for a certain amount of money. Okay. If none of your money is going down to reduce the price that is sold to the leasing company, then you technically don't have any money down. That down payment reduces what they call the cap cost to the leasing company. So it can say you have no money down doesn't mean no money out of your pocket. No money down means none of the money is going to reduce the acquisition on the car, but you can still have acquisition fees and loan initiation fees and all this other fees and taxes and all the other stuff. It doesn't mean nothing down. It doesn't mean nothing down.
I'm hearing a lot of useful information here. I'm hearing a lot of stuff that I didn't know, but I don't hear an answer to the question yet. Do you lease or do you buy?
Well, it depends, like the underwear. And we're going to hear about that right after this break.
This is Dom Genova from Myers Creative. People get DNA tested to see where their ancestors came from, and that's all you get, where they came from. How about if you could actually have a video of past family? Well, you can't do that for the past, but you could do it for the future. John Myers can visit your home and video a professional and thoughtful interview for you to pass down to generations. Book one for yourself or give one as a Christmas gift to mom and dad to talk about their story. Or both. Go to lifeinterviews.com. This is Dom Genova for my friends at Martinizing Dry Cleaning in Fairport. Well, it's that time again. You're starting to wear long sleeve shirts. And you got to schlep them to the dry cleaner and schlep them. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. You do what I do. You call Martinizing Dry Cleaning in Fairport. They pick them up and they drop them off, and they do a great job. Their Google rating is 4.9 out of 5. You can, oh my God, it's amazing. Their number is 425-4242. 425-4242. I use them. You should use them. Well, welcome back. We're talking to Mike Whittemore, who happens to be a car buyer. And we were talking about lease versus buy. And I threw a lot. It's like a fire hose of information I just gave in the last 9 minutes.
There's a lot of information there and a lot of stuff I didn't know.
And in the break, he says, well, then what's better, lease or buy? And, I guess that has to do with your lifestyle. What is your lifestyle? What do you want out of this purchase that you have for your car? Do you want to hand in the keys every couple of years and have something nice to drive, especially when you get to be older? You don't want to care about that. You don't want to have a car and need to worry about the transmission. You want something nice.
Sure.
I want that something out like every 3 years. Well, then a lease could be something that's very good for you. If you're looking for the best financial thing to do, you buy a car, you pay cash for it, you drive it till the wheels fall off. I mean, if you're talking about something typically financial.
Sure.
I mean, I'm driving a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee. 2015 is going to be 10 years old.
Wow.
The thing's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But
how many miles a year do you drive?
Well, not very much. It's got like 70,000 miles. I don't drive. Well, we have a couple of cars, so
Okay.
Nita's the one that drives to South Bend and back in her Escape. I think she's got like 600,000 miles on the darn thing. It's a nice car, but she's
I retired from my full-time radio job just about 3 years ago, and I've noticed since I retired, I'm driving about 6,000 miles a year. So that may put this whole situation into a different question.
Well,
what do I need, and how does it make sense for me?
Well, and that's precisely it. Is your ego involved in this? Do you want something new? Do you like having something? It's, God. I don't think God meant you to suffer. You want a car, you want a thing. If you can, that's fine. But the thing is to be seduced into it. Now, there's another thing that you'll see dealers do. They'll try to compete with a lease, and online or on the radio they say, "And you own it." When you hear somebody says, "Oh, it's $299 a month, and you own it," usually that means that's a balloon payment. So the balloon payment.
And you're responsible for financing a big balloon payment.
Yeah, so it's
$99 a month, but you're going to have to make a $40,000 balloon payment in 2 years.
Well, it's structured the same way as a lease.
Yeah.
But it's like this hybrid thing, and you own it. It's like, okay, fine. I think the worst thing I ever saw. I don't know if anybody asked. Somebody should have asked, "What's the worst thing you ever saw?" And I'll tell you right now. Dom asked, "What's the worst thing you ever saw?" And Dom is going to answer you. I saw a dealer, and it was years ago, and the ad was for a $299 payment on this Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, the great Jeep Grand Cherokee, it's $50,000. Maybe back then it was like $40,000.
Car.
Yeah, it was a beautiful
Probably
car.
$700 payment.
$299 is your payment. Your payment is $299. Now, I'm at my dealership. No nonsense car dealer. And these people are coming in for the $299 Cherokee, Grand Cherokee. And they say, "Where's your $299 Grand Cherokee?" I said, "Read the small print. That's $299 every other week."
Oh my. No kidding.
It was every other week.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's $600 a month. So I think I did an ad saying, your payment on my Cherokee is $20.
So
every day.
So the answer to the question, and we always used to talk about this, that those disclaimers at the bottom of the ad or whatever. What does the disclaimer mean? The disclaimer means you can't buy the car for the price that's being advertised.
Well, they don't call them claimers.
That's true.
It's a disclaimer.
Right.
It's a disclaimer. Now, here's the other thing that I've seen is that, and somebody asked this in one of the questions, I think, about pricing and stuff. So there's a difference between you pay and your price. Okay. Now I have copies of all this. It's great. It's really funny because this is like a rogues gallery. So I have you pay $17,995 for this Avenger, and in the small print, that's after you put $2,000 down. So it wasn't your price; it's you pay after you paid $2,000.
So $19,995.
Yeah, after you paid your $2,000, you pay another $17,995, and so the real price is $19,995. That's all in these little, in the disclaimers. Mm-hmm. And going beyond that, I mean, think about this whole thing about disclaimers. I don't care if it's an airline or an internet company or whatever. You look on TV and this. I call it mouse print. You can't read it. It's up there for like 37 seconds and it's gone. It's like, what is that? I mean, it's not really doing anything for you, right?
Right. That's true.
Yeah. So the thing about the lease versus the buy boils down to this one thing. Where are you in your life? And how comfortable do you want to be? And can you deal with the fact that if you don't like the car, you can't trade it in until the end of the lease? Okay.
Right.
And it's like, cars are like shoes. They have to be affordable, comfortable, a style you like, and you can't return them. Okay. I mean, cars are like shoes, right? Do these shoes fit? I mean, if you want to put yourself in a size shoe that's too small for you, well, you got to suffer the consequences. It's going to be painful for you. So that's the difference between car and lease.
Sounds to me like buying seems to make more sense.
Well, it depends what you want to do. I mean, like I said, the best thing you can do is buy a car, pay cash, and just drive it till the wheels fall off. But if you like to have something nice and clean, and every once in a while, and leasing is not a bad deal for you, especially with somebody like you who's only doing 7,000 miles a year.
Yeah, not driving much.
Well, I call that a flower pot lease. You can stick it out in front of your yard, and it's nice and pretty, but you can't drive it very much. So
but if I don't need to drive it very much, then it's okay.
Exactly, that's exactly right. It goes to my analogy about size.
Although I have to say that the current car that I am driving, which I am leasing, I discovered after driving it for about 6 months, it's too low to the ground.
Yeah.
I've had 2 knees replaced. I've had a back surgery. I'm having a harder and harder time getting in and out of this car, and I guess I'm kind of stuck with it for the next year and a half.
Well, and that's one of the other things about buying a car. You need to evaluate so many different things when you go to buy a car. Okay, You need to get in the car, see how comfortable it is, how you can look out the back window. Is it easy to park? I mean, all this other stuff. I mean, is it easy to hijack? I mean,
yeah. Well, that's
I had a son who had that happen to my son. No, talk about that. His car got stolen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My son had
got like 2 minutes more in the segment. Go ahead.
My son had his car stolen out of his driveway. He's got a house in the city, and his car was stolen out from under him. And as it ends up, the car was used in a murder, which was devastating. But and the car was in such poor condition, just in the very short time that it was driven around, that there was no question that it wasn't going to be able to go back to him. The insurance wasn't going to cover it. It was totaled. So he ended up having to, go out and buy another car.
And you bought one of those brands. Oh, you're leasing one of those brands, right? The one.
I am not.
No.
My son had bought this car that has been in the news for being easy. But you're not leasing one.
Well, you see, the thing is that with some of these cars, they'll do really great lease deals.
Yeah.
Because of a couple of different reasons. One is maybe the car's not that popular car and they're subsidizing the lease. The other thing is that if you have a high end car that you need to move, they'll put a great lease on it because they don't want to put a big rebate on it. And we'll talk about that right after this.
This is Dom from my friend Jim Shelly and his Fanatics Pub and Blues Stage in Lima. We talk all the time about the great blues shows he has, and his patios open on weekends for free entertainment. Jim also has the Bills game on every Sunday. You can go there and watch the Bills in a setting that's more like, well, Cheers than a big impersonal sports bar. Exit 10, Route 390, go east a couple of miles and you're there. I'll be there. Come say hello.
Well, you're back listening to the No Nonsense Roundtable. Every once in a while, I want to say home repair clinic. I don't know why. It's from when I was, I know you were hosting that for a while, but Jim Salmon has done a lot for me, and I would co-host his show with him every once in a while, and every once in a while we have to stop the recording here because.
And back in the day, it was my job to get in and out of the breaks. So I still know all those phone numbers by heart. 222-1180 star 1180 1-800-295-1180. Free call for Verizon wireless subscribers. Actually, I don't think it is anymore, but that's what it was then. And we did it. It just rolls off.
Well, I learned very quickly that you need to call it News Radio Wham 1180. When I first started. Our name is News Radio Wham 1180. Please use that. So, okay. I misgendered them or something.
See, I go back far enough with WHAM that it took me a long time to learn Wham 1180 because I used to say 1180 WHAM. That was how I said it for years and years and years. So that was a hard habit to break.
So back on topic, okay?
Yes.
So we were talking about leasing and whatever, and I had a good friend of mine who just went to lease a luxury car. I'll say it. It was a Cadillac. Okay. An electric Cadillac. Okay. And she asked me to look at the lease deal, and with I'm looking at him going, this is pretty darn good. This is a very, very good lease. I mean, this is 2 years and it's not that many miles. It has enough miles rather than you could drive it, whatever. And the thing is that the figures that they're using are incredibly generous. And the reason that they're doing that is because they want to move the electric car. But the other thing about it is that when you have luxury brands, you cheapen the brand if you put a big rebate on it.
Okay.
So you maintain the aura. You maintain the aura of having something that's luxurious.
Yeah, you're sending the wrong message if it has a big rebate on it.
Oh, yeah. Once I worked for Chrysler for 17 years before I started the dealership, and we announced the car, and at the same day we announced the car, we announced the rebate on it. Why don't you just announce the car for less money? It doesn't, people, and, back in the day too, you used to buy, it was Joe Garagiola. Remember him? It was buy a car, Chrysler started that years ago. It was buy a car, get a check. So you buy a car and then you would get a check in the mail.
Right.
Okay. Well, now it is included in your deal. And before we go too far, somebody asked me a question the other day. It wasn't a call-in, but somebody asked me a question about these rebates. Okay. So one of the things you got to understand is that there are rebates and there are rebates. Actually, there are rebates, but we're going to talk about the first two. There's rebates that everybody gets. You're a human being, you qualify for the rebate, okay?
Right.
Now, the rebates, on top of those rebates, if you're a recent college grad, if you're in the military, and there's one that used to be for if you're a Farm Bureau member, if you are first responders and whatever.
A previous buyer.
Okay. But here's the deal. Here's the dealer to English dictionary, okay? Yeah. Say, some dealers will say, all rebates applied.
No, they don't.
Well, but you can't. Some of you can't stack them. Okay.
Right.
So I saw an ad a while back.
Cars.
What? No. Okay. Let's not get off topic. Okay. So you have the national rebate that everybody gets, okay?
Yeah.
And then they're adding up all these things, but they're exclusive of one another. You can't get a recent college graduate rebate and a military rebate and a first responders. You can get one of those, but you can't get all of them.
Right.
So what I saw the dealer do is say, here's the price of the car. It's got $7,000 worth of rebates. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You can't qualify for all of those.
Right.
So when you go to the salesperson and says, well, what's the price? Well, you qualify? No. No. Well, you don't qualify for this, but you just advertised the price that included them all.
Right.
Okay. Offers, you got a first responders rebate. Well, you have to be a professional first responder sometime. Like a volunteer fireman doesn't work. You can't get that rebate.
Okay.
So the wording is very sketchy sometimes. And one of the things is that all dealers in the state of New York are franchise dealers except for Tesla. Okay. They're all franchise dealers. The franchises were written years and years ago, back, like 100 years ago. And you have to buy your car from a franchise dealer. Now, all the dealers are buying the cars for the same price. Okay, right. It's not like roofing at Home Depot to buy stuff and you get a discount. So now each dealer's got to convince you that they have something that they're offering you that the other guy's not offering you.
Right.
Okay. Well, that tends to
it can be hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So somebody wrote in a question, says, how about this stuff, the free stuff, the free cruise and whatever. I said, well, there's in between free and free. There's you go to Wegmans and they're handing out little pieces of cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, that's free.
That's
okay.
Free.
That's free.
That's
okay.
Right.
The rest of the stuff is
maybe you'll like this and maybe you'll buy this.
Right, included in the price. Included in the price. I can include your pet meds in the price if you let me charge you more for the car. Okay.
Sure.
So when they say, well, it's a free TV, go to the dealership, the one that's giving you the free TV, and say you're not buying a car, you just want the free TV.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. So included in the price. But you had another one there. What was the?
Sally from Irondequoit wants to know if I don't do any research and I just go in and throw myself at the car dealer's mercy, how bad's it going to be? How much more will I have to pay?
Okay, it's 2:00 in the morning. You are in New York City. Your car is broken down outside of Rockefeller Center or in Hunts Point, the South Bronx, and you want to get out and walk a couple of blocks to the telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're much safer with one than the other. I mean, it's sort of like, what neighborhood are you in? I mean, what's the worst thing you can do? The worst thing you can do is that you may be perfectly fine going and do that, but would you want to risk doing that knowing what the downside on that is? Just say.
I guess it depends on how big the downside is.
The downside.
I mean, is the downside $3,000 or $1,500 or $10,000? How bad is it going to be?
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of people buy cars and they just don't know. They just don't know. You might get snookered for something and you just don't know because you're not doing the calculation. Now, the number one thing, I would answer that question this way. The number one thing that I think people make a mistake with is that they shop one thing: price. Okay, price. Right. Okay.
Yep.
So there's so many other calculations that go into buying a car. Okay.
Okay.
And it's basically there's four things. Okay. There's the price of the car. There is your trade-in. Is your monthly payment, and there's how much money you want to put down. Okay. And there's actually a system that a lot of dealers use, and what they do is that they'll give you rotten numbers on all four of those things. They'll give you rotten numbers on all of those things. Okay. And the one that you squeal the most about, that's what your motivation is.
Okay. So now the dealer has an idea of where to go to sell you.
Right. And that's exactly right. So if you look at the trade-in value, and they're giving you a terrible trade-in value for your car, okay, way below the value of the car, and you complain about that, well, they have enough baked into the rest of the deal that they say, oh, okay, well, if you're paying me $2,000 over list for my car, I can give you $2,000 more for your trade-in, right? So what they do is they just take whatever number is and they back into it because it's just not price. And you hear on the thing like market value price. I don't know what that stuff means. You know, what is it? Market value price.
Me neither.
Stuff, you know, I like the ones where they said they're going to beat anybody's price. You know, so I mean theoretically, then we can talk about that after the break because theoretically, if you have two dealers saying they can beat anybody's price, then you know sooner or later you should be able to get a car for free, right?
You would think, but no one's going to get a car for free. We know that.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that right after this.
This is Dom Genova from my friends at Jack Greco Furniture. Like I like to say, you buy a car every couple of years, you probably take your money and put it into furniture for, well, decades. Now, go someplace where they treat you right and they have good stuff. Not like these big box stores. Go to Jack Greco. And this is the end of the year. They have closeout savings on their outdoor furniture. Hey, the winter's not going to last forever. It's going to seem that way, but it's not going to last forever. Go see Jack Greco.
Well, welcome everybody to this edition we have of your car shoppers clinic, I guess you want to call it, and it's I'm here with Mike Whittemore, an icon of Rochester radio. That's what I would call you. Your voice is like on everything, you know. But anyway, taught me a lot. You used to help me with my ads. And
well, I did until you got so good at writing them, you didn't need my help anymore. You got really good at writing ads, man. You were really good.
Well, thank you. Well, that was always my background. My background at Chrysler is I was in the sales division, but I always wanted to be in the marketing division. I have an MBA in marketing. That's what I like doing, and it's very, very rewarding. Especially I'm running ads now for the people that are sponsors of my show and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I'm just having a ball doing this. Now you have a question here. This happens to be from one of my friends, Will.
Yeah. When shopping for a new car at a local dealership, I questioned why their math and my math did not equate. And I was told, oh, well, that's because you did not include the $1,000 for the ceramic coating paint protection.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, actually, there's a segment in Fargo where that happens, where what was it? Macy was the salesperson.
Macy,
yeah, and the guy's there. He says, "Well, I told you when I put a deposit on the car, I didn't want the paint protection." He says, "Well, we did it anyways, $500." He goes, "But I don't want it." He goes, "Well, it's on it now." Says, and the guy is furious. He goes, "No, I don't want it." Well, he goes back to his manager. His manager, they sit there and they talk about the ball game or something. He comes back to the guy. He says, "Okay, I'll take $100 off." Yeah, but that's a common tactic. I had a conversation once with somebody. I actually ended up selling a car to. It was a local dealer. He says, "Well, we put the paint sealant on the car no matter what." He says, "But I ordered the car. Just don't put this paint sealant on the car." He says, "No, we can't do that. We got to charge you for the paint sealant. Every car that goes out of here has the paint sealant on it." Well, it's a way of it. There are things that you might want to put on the car, after sale items that you might like and want, okay? And there's some that are very, very high markup that have questionable value. There was a dealer that was offering a special little doober that went in the this is a true story, that went in the fuel line of your car, and theoretically it would align the molecules of gas with magnets that would align the molecules so it would go through your injectors easier.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
Yeah. Okay. So when does a magnet affect gas? I mean, there's no iron in. There should be no steel or iron in the gas that's going to align these molecules, right? You would hope not. So the thing would be, and just don't hang me on the price. The thing would be like $1,000 or $1,200. It's absolutely worthless. It costs maybe $35 to put some doober in there that where the lights flash, green and red or something like that. I don't care how
much it costs. If it's called a doober, I ain't paying for it.
Well, whatever. And the thing is, that now I can give you $1,000 more for your car if you buy $1,000 worth of something from me that's really not worth anything. So,
Right.
So the other thing is you got things like paint sealant. I'm not a big fan of paint sealant. I mean, back in 1964, when your car was the paint was oxidizing. Yeah, okay.
Crazy.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm not so sure about that. You got a clear coat on your car. Right. I mean, it's not like it was
the
years.
Technology's improved a little bit.
Like it, years ago. So, I mean, these things where you got this, but you have to get that. I had a dealer that I called on Long Island back when I was a young man, and the dealer he had $10 rentals for his rental fleet. $10 rental for your car. Back in 1970, 77. But you had to buy the insurance for $30.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, I mean. Yeah, you had to buy the insurance. And now that it was required for you to buy the insurance. So it was $40 to rent the car, and just included in the insurance. But that was the scam that they used to do. Wow. There's something that you need to look at when you look at a window label too. There's something called an addended window label. It looks just like the manufacturer's label. Do you know the name of the manufacturer's label? Do you know what that's called, by the way? I'll give you a little automotive trivia. It's called the Monroney label, because it was Senator Monroney back in the 50s that said, they're selling cars and nobody knows what's in the car and the prices. So that's called the Monroney label, green label. And there's some dealers that put a label next to that label that makes it look like a label, like the federal label, and that's the extra stuff that they put on the car to mark up the price of the car. Sometimes it's legitimate. Sometimes if you have something that's really, really, really in high demand, you might want to say additional profit required. I got that. You're getting one of these a year, whatever. But it looks like a window label. It says this is not a federal label, but it looks just like a federal label. So you have to watch that, because that's where these things are hidden. The extra this and the extra this and the extra this and whatever. So,
what are the sorts of things that buyers come in when a buyer comes into a dealership? Mm-hmm. What sorts of things does a buyer say that makes the dealer's eyes light up?
Oh, that's a really good one. Well, the thing is that now most salespeople are commissioned. Okay, yes. I'm saying there's nothing immoral or whatever, but with commission sales, that's fine.
Right.
If they have a sense of fairness, and that doesn't go. And that's not in control of the salesperson. That's the house that they work for. Is it an upstanding dealership, or they kind of sort of
right.
thing.
Yeah.
The thing is that when somebody comes in and the salesperson says, what do you want your payment to be? Okay, so right now they're backing into something. Okay, so the thing about talking to people, negotiating, is that you want to be nice, but not too nice. Ask them questions you know the answer to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love asking people questions that I know the answer to, because I know the veracity of what they're telling me. If they say they have to go and they have to find out, that's fine by me. That is fine by me.
Yeah.
But just don't give me a bunch of bull. I mean, you'd find that with sometimes you find that with like truck sales. Okay. Well, can I take this truck and I put a plow on it? Oh yeah, you can put a plow on it. No, you can't. You can't put a plow on a half-ton truck and have the warranty stay valid.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't do that. It'll avoid the warranty, because the truck's not meant to plow.
I am learning so much here,
Mm-hmm.
listening to you talk about all the different things that can go on, the pitfalls, that you can fall into, when you're trying to buy a car or buy a truck. So you should write a book.
God, you are so good. We have a minute left, and you got it in. Yes, I am in process of writing a book. The fellow who is the co-author of a fellow in the National Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Gene Gornish. His name is Steve Miller. He and I are writing a book about how to buy a car and not get taken for a ride. So we got to,
Love the title.
Yeah, don't get taken for a ride. But the no nonsense car deal that made me a lot of money, and made my life very satisfying, and is the reason why we have a no nonsense roundtable show. But it's probably by the end of the year we'll get that done. But
that's fantastic.
Why, thank you,
Dom.
Thanks for the softball. I love it.
Listen, man, thanks for inviting me here to be with you on Wham 1180. This is
News Radio Wham 1180.
This has been fun.
News Radio Wham 1180. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, everybody, next week, same time, same place. And maybe we should do more of these. I think, I can get into so many more things. So
I'm sure you could.
Good. Okay, gang. See you next week.
Thanks for listening. Tune in every Saturday from 10 to 11 on News Radio Wham 1180. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.